meals. And this is what it looks like after we've been quarantined and not eating for days. We're done.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? From First We Feast, this is Brian Wolf, and you're out watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. Today we have a special birthday edition of the show with an even hotter recipe, meant to make our guest feel all 29 years of his life in a single sitting, cooked up by our own Vivian Chu. Now we're joined by Cenzo Vidiello, or Cenzo for short. He's a Boston native Frisbee player and has 2 professional championships under his belt, countless appearances at college and club nationals, and a world showing.
Definitely countable.
While on hiatus during the quarantine, you can find Cenzo developing his amateur bartending skills at countless virtual happy hours. In addition to creating connections with bitters and cocktails, Cenzo has been mixing up a new social networking app meant to bring people closer together in a time when we can't be. Cenzo is a founder to a new Bay Area tech startup called Loom, whose app is launching soon. So go check that out. But first, the wings of death. Well, how you feeling? Are you ready to go?
A little nervous all of a sudden.
And most of the time, your publicist sets this up, and you plan ahead. Maybe you juice cleanse, prepare. I don't know, but we kind of threw you into this one.
Will we begin?
Yeah, this is where we
From
go.
the handle?
That's they're in order for you. So start on your right and your left. Can we get a bowl to throw the wings in? I really
Really?
try to work. Okay, here we go.
Was the trash for something else? Wait, was the trash for vomit?
Like we talked about in your intro, you're a Boston native and a cocktail enthusiast. Other than good drinks, I think everyone knows you love some good food. So much so that you probably play Ultimate so you can eat more, rather than vice versa. If you could take us on a food and drink tour of Boston, where would you take us?
Oh my god. I think some of the staples would be in Inman Square, the All-Star Pizza Bar and All-Star Sandwich Bar. Can't go wrong there.
Okay.
Diagonal corners. Really good.
Right near Christina's Ice Cream.
Oh yeah, Christina's Ice Cream right next door. Really solid. We have a picture of Dumpling House. Is that Dumpling House? It is. No. At the generic Asian food or Dumpling House, which is also a great restaurant in either Chinatown or on Mass Ave. I haven't eaten Boston food in quite some time actually.
You want to go on the second one? We're good to go?
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. Anyone who's played a game with you, whether it be beer pong, beer ball, ultimate, or Rocket League, or just throwing balls into containers, knows you're good at games. So much so that I hear you secretly play beer pong with your non-dominant hand so you don't embarrass your opponents too quickly. You never tell your opponents the truth since you're humble and you don't want to spoil their fun. Well, let's say we're in some kind of Space Jam situation where the fate of the world is resting on you winning a best-of-3 showdown against the Monstars. Which 3 games would you choose to compete in to save the world?
God, we've lost. We're in this situation. It is over. 3 games against the Monstars. When they're jacked up.
Oh yeah, the real Monstars, not the little flying guys.
I think you just go down to the bar games, so it's not basketball. Shuffleboard, darts, beer ball, I guess. Why not?
Who would be your teammate? Who would you pick for the beer ball against the Monstars?
Joel, of course, because they'll never get past the 1. And then any of the slow boys.
Shout out to the slow boys.
Shout out to the slow boys.
The most overlooked skills in Ultimate is balance. Anyone who's seen you knows that you have superb footwork. Some theorize that you developed this first on ice. I know you loosen your skates to improve your agility and speed, to avoid some of those bruisers. Well, agility must have paid off, since before Ultimate, you were the Hobie Baker award-winning hockey player of the Wayland Warriors. Can I get a Go Warriors? Go Warriors! Which one of these muggy men was your main enforcer?
Main enforcer of this group. That's gotta be Sean Happy. Right next to him on my right shoulder, left in the picture. Yeah, power forward, that guy.
There is no evidence that this exists for real. Like the Hobie Baker has a website, and I've tried to find this. Does not exist.
Well, we have it. We still have it. It's still there. We found evidence. We got a shining photo of it to prove that it did happen. Or, maybe your parents bought it for you and had it made.
Yeah, I have
We don't know.
questions.
Google.
You gotta tell us about the hot sauces.
Ooh, this one actually, thanks for the reminder here, very mustardy. I don't know what people are eating following along, but this is a Scotch bonnet mustard hot sauce. The other ones were pretty much regular hot sauces, so I'm a little worried.
Many of us here on Earth call you Cenzo. For the people of Azeroth, Ellie was the gnome rogue Valdar, nominator of Orc, gnome pun intended. First of his name, son of Celius Darkmoon of the Borean Tundra. You rolled deep with the Warlock
You guys did
radio
some real research
on the back
on
of
that
some Thunderlord server in the World of Warcraft. The gnome lore tells a story of Valdar defeating the one seed at the Vindication Battleground while under the influence of maybe a few spirits. Is this legend true? Why was a Warlock rogue duo such a non-traditional pair, and how did you guys use that to your advantage?
Well, we competed in this 2-on-2 division, so it was you either had like double damage or damage healer, and I think doing double damage just surprised people, and the games were a lot faster.
Faster than what? Faster than what they were used to playing?
Yeah, I mean you had to adjust really quickly. You had to lost or won really fast. So
Very high risk, high reward strategy.
yeah,
How you feeling?
good.
Right, we're doing okay.
I'm getting full more than anything.
In an interview with Jump Off Campus in 2012, you said you shared a love of comedy movies from the 80s with your father, such as Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Midnight Run, and Dazed and Confused. Do these movies stand the test of time? Are they still your favorites nearly a decade later? Or did your favorite Miyazaki animated works such as Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, and Porco Rosso win out?
Honestly, I feel like I would happily watch any of these movies at any given point. Miyazaki's, though, I think have certainly become like the classic. You just want to sit down for a night, watch a shorter film, and go into some fantastical land.
Do you remember any time that you maybe first saw these movies and what your memories of those were? How old were you? Where were you in life? How much facial hair did you have?
I think these. I mean, we have my dad here too. I think we watched these when I was in high school.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, we went through a lot.
Yeah.
For movies, you want One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest and all the movies you couldn't watch when you were younger.
I was gonna say these look like they're rated R. When was the first time you attended one?
Alien.
Hate horror movies. I have been, for some reason, my YouTube recommendations are all movie clips from horror movies now. And so I'll like watch a clip from a horror movie, but then I'll go read the synopsis of the whole movie. It's a terrible thing to do right before bed. Ooh, lemongrass, cilantro, and basil.
Six
So the last one. Alright, here we go.
Is this your favorite so far? Do you like the mustard ones?
I think I like the mustard one the most. It's the most unusual.
In 2012, when you went to USAU College Nationals with the tough ski men, every Ultimate player has one of these defining moments which they wish turned out differently and it haunts them forever. You could go back to college and replay 1 point with your current skills. What would it be?
Like 1 point. Well, losing in the, I think it was quarters against Wisco was rough. I wish I could go back to that for sure. I think my main thing going back was I wish I took better care of my body. Just like let the injuries rack up, torn hamstring and stuff.
Yeah, I hear you're a tear and repair guy. You're not a stretcher.
Yeah. I do say that a lot comedically. Tear and repair. But I do wish I did a little more. Not got the tears. Stronger gazer, right? Oh, interesting. Oh,
Those two are backwards.
Okay.
oh.
Sure about that, or are we just going in?
We are.
What? This one's backwards. What are people eating along? Steve, what is your 6?
I'm starting to get pretty hot. This one's called Texas Champagne Hot Sauce.
Texas champagne.
Uh,
The champagne of hot sauces.
Exactly.
You can put a little more on if you're worried that the butter's cutting too much. We could.
I have a feeling. Let's get a little further before we decide to do stuff like that.
I hear Che Banks was so popular, you could see it from space, or at least Google Maps. I know that house never made it onto MTV Cribs, but what made this place to be?
Oh, normally they make you like Kevlar on that side of the table, but you must edit it really well. I don't know. It's just kind of the people there.
Obviously, great.
It's also kind of an unusual setup where like you kind of like the living space was in the basement. I don't know why that was interesting, but it was interesting. It's good space and it's well located. Harvard Square, East Central. Tasty burger right there. Yeah. I think location more than anything. Yeah, that one's hot.
That was the first one that really kind of, yeah. Careful on your eyes.
Careful on your eyes. All right.
Go right away. We can take a minute, let it settle, hang out.
I mean, I'm ready. Okay. Yeah, I feel like we should cheers this one. I don't know. Goodbye, sweet world. Oh, it does taste like shit.
All right, well, Cenzo, we have a recurring segment on the show called Explain That Gram, where we do a deep dive into our guest Instagram and pull interesting photos that need more context. Yours, unfortunately, pretty lacking.
You know,
So-
I can answer these too.
We'll ask this instead. We hear you refer back to your extremely nice suit from Boston. We wanted to know, which suit are you referring to? And tell us what's happening in each of these pictures.
On our left here, this is prom, and this was my hockey line getting a picture. And this is not the suit that we talk about, which, by the way, is still in Boston, and I do need at some point. Not this one. This was a rental. This Spidey suit, gifted by you. I don't know how long I kept this, but it was a staple at parties. Look at that. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's nice with the tie. Everything really pulls the look together.
I did at some point cut the fingers off so you could throw a frisbee, which was a great addition.
How much frisbee did you play in it? What were the highlight games?
Let's see. One was, did I wear this to your practice? I was visiting Georgetown, and they had an ultimate practice, and Bride took me to it, and I wore the Spider-Man suit. And yeah, I don't know. For being honest, I was a little drunk. Yeah. And a couple fun tournaments in Boston.
I want to sit with you.
Oh yeah, that's hot. You guys over there? Yeah, that was a hot one.
This is the first one to the next level.
Oh my gosh, this is so spicy.
Is accurately described as a terrible fucking taste.
Yeah, yeah. The bomb is universally bad.
It doesn't even have like a flavor.
No, it's just bad. It was bad.
You can't see it on the camera, but Kevin's got a little sweat going on the other side too.
It's not a little sweat. It is a lot of sweat, and I can't tell if my nose is running or it's also sweating out my nose.
We're going in. We're going in.
The show goes on.
All right.
Hey, you gotta read questions, man.
Out of college, you joined the Boston Wildcard. Your skills on the field really skyrocketed here, which led to appearances at ESPN, a world's competition in Lecco, Italy, battling with the best of the best. Wildcard shares a name with this romantic novel, and I heard players would read passages of this after practices that they were selected as somebody who worked particularly hard or did particularly well. Do you remember anything about the passages that you read? What was your fondest memory of playing with the team?
If I'm being honest, I don't think I was ever chosen to read a passage. I don't know if that says something about
my on-field play at the time. But I actually remember none of this book, and now I would like to do a book club on this book. So we'll get that going.
Do you remember any of the passages? What's the plot of this novel? I mean, who is this guy?
I don't. But I think it did not have the strongest plot from a literary masterpiece standpoint.
We'll read the Cliff Notes. We'll get back into it.
Explode with a hot mixture of erotic pleasures.
Well, we got the hot mixture already. We'll figure that out. Cenzo, all right, this is the last dab. We call it the last dab because it's tradition around here to put a little extra on the last wing. You don't have to, but it's definitely encouraged.
You don't have to either. I feel like clarify. Ooh. Is that enough pizza?
Yeah, we can just, yeah. All right.
Moose is very interested. That's probably animal cruelty. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cenzo, we made it to the last stop on this train, the finale, the last call, the final boss battle, the double game point. So look at this camera, this camera, this camera, and let the people know what you've got going on in your life.
Definitely dealing with this right now.
I don't know. I think we're all dealing with something with this shelter in place and everything right now. So,
Really happy that people could join this, whatever you want to call this torture. Yeah, I don't know, releasing Loom soon. You'll hear from me about it for sure. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
great job. Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Cheers.